So when it comes to the hips, I believe I said this before. I didn't go all the way in depth though. But when it comes to the hips, we have these muscles called the psoas muscles. So I'll put that on the screen for you right there, alright? So these are the psoas muscles. But these muscles, they pretty much, they go along your waist, but then they wrap around the lower back like that, which is crazy. So a lot of people, and this is part of the hips, a lot of people don't even know about this muscle. But this muscle is directly linked to running, the psoas muscle. And this muscle is so dynamic that people can't even process just how dynamic this muscle is. Like, I'll be explaining this muscle and there's so much things behind it that people can't even catch up with how much this muscle does, right? So basically, like, the psoas muscle, like, there's so many places to start. Remember, it connects your hips to your lower back, right? But it's also connected with your abs as well. Trust me, when you see the picture, it's a weird one, but this is how people can have lower back pain too, because the psoas is wrapping around going to your lower back, but then it reaches like vertebrae 6 or something. Like, so that's the lumbar. Like, the lumbar has like 1 through 6, I believe. So if it wraps around it and goes to the 6, this is how people can have it tied with back pain, because the lumbar is tied in with the lumbar system. But then also the lumbar system is tied in with other regions of the body. So this is how it can affect other regions of your body. So I'm trying to get this message across. So like, if you have tight psoas, tight hips, that can affect your lumbar. And then the lumbar is attached to other parts of the region. It can affect other parts of the region. So if you have tight hips, you can have, that could be a reason why you have knee pain. You get what I'm saying? Because that part in the lumbar is being affected that's tied in with the knee, right? But it's tough because the hips also tie in with the lumbar. So if you got hips that's tight, it could be messing with a certain part in that lower back that's messing with other parts of your body. So, you want to be able to loosen up the psoas and not make it so it's so tight. And the reason why it's so tight is because when we're stressed, in anxiety, and always in fight and flight, the sympathetic mode, it's telling your psoas muscles to run, right? Because the psoas muscles is directly tied to running. So if you're in fight and flight, what do you gotta do? What is the primal thing you do when you're in fight and flight? Run. You're not gonna stand there, you're not gonna walk, you're not gonna just lightly jog, you're gonna run as fast as possible to get out of the situation. So when you're in fight and flight, when your adrenals is going on, when you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're always sympathetically aroused, you're always tightening your psoas because you're subconsciously saying go. And then that's what's putting all the tightness on the psoas. So if you're a person that stresses out a lot, that can lead to the lower back pain. So you stress out, you got tight hips, tight psoas, now it's affecting your lower back. Now you feel like you got back pain. So one of the reasons you may be younger, you may be like 30 something, you feel back pain because you got tight hips, tight psoas, and it's probably because you stressed out a lot. You're always in fight and flight. So this is another importance of meditation, regulating a person's breath to help get in that parasympathetic state, to help relax the psoas muscles, right? This is deep. This is why I said people can't even wrap their head around this muscle. Like, I'm trying my best to help you understand this muscle and why it's important. Because it basically ties in with your fight and flight, but also your rest and digest. And people in general, we can't be in both at the same time. You can't be in the sympathetic phase and the parasympathetic phase at the same time. So this is when you have to understand your mood and understand your body and understand how you're feeling. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, that's how you know that you're potentially putting more tightness on your hips and your psoas. But if you understand yourself in a moment, you're feeling more calm, feeling more relaxed, you're feeling more at ease, your breath is good, you know that your psoas is more relaxed. All right, so state of mood is important because the state of mood is pretty much a direct link to the hips. Because remember, if you're in fight and flight, that's gonna signal the hips to tighten up just in case you gotta run. All right, so it's a deep muscle. So breathing, exercises, it doesn't only bring you into the parasympathetic mode, but remember, this is a crazy muscle, guys. The psoas muscle connects with the lower back, but it also is connected with the diaphragm as well, the lower abs. So, excuse me, there is diaphragmatic breathing. Like when we breathe, we're able to expand our diaphragm. Our diaphragm expands when we do nasal breathing, right? So when you're breathing through your mouth, if you're a mouth breather, only your chest, your lungs and your upper chest expand. But when you're breathing through your nose, the whole thing, though, even the diaphragm expands, right? And remember, the psoas is linked with the diaphragm as well. So when we're doing whole body breathing, that's how we're able to reach the psoas muscle. So if you are hearing this and you still think you don't gotta correct your breath, like you gotta correct your breath to where you can do whole body breathing and it's not difficult, right? So that's something that you gotta practice too, is being able to breathe and to really fill it up, right? And some people have trouble with that. If you have shallow breathing, like if you're doing, there's reasons to have shallow breathing, but in this situation, if you have shallow breathing, like you do it all the time, like it might just be shallow enough. It might seem fine, but it just might be shallow enough to where it don't make it. So you might be like, and that might seem fine, right? But you gotta be like, that, you know what I'm saying? So, and if you have the issue getting in the oxygen in your nose in one fatal swipe like this, another way to do it is by sniffing. So, I can do it in one fatal swipe now, but in the beginning, I actually did have struggle, like trying to get all of the air in just like one sniff, basically. But if you do have issue trying to get it in one sniff, just sniff it. Don't exhale until you get it all the way. Just if you have problem getting it, just like that. And that's how you can get it to your diaphragm all the way too. The sniff, all right? The power of the sniff. This is another body variation that we're not utilizing, right? So improper breathing mannerisms can lead to lower back issues, tight psoas muscles, tight hip muscles. So practicing breathing. All right, so yeah, this is a dynamic muscle because it ties in with the lower back, but it ties in with the diaphragm too, which diaphragm ties in with breathing. So it's your breath ties in with your hips, your psoas, which ties in with your lower back, which is crazy. So, which ties in with your knee. It ties in with it's a trail. So, what else about the psoas muscle? I explained how the psoas is tied in with your fight and flight, your sympathetic mode, and your parasympathetic mode, and your rest and digest. So. You can't be stressed all the time. You can't be tense all the time. And if you are, that can be one of the reasons why you have lower back pain, because you're always tense and you always have tight hips. That's pretty much the short way of saying that. So it's not only just about relieving the psoas, but it's also about strengthening it as well. And one of the reasons why the psoas muscle gets weak is from sitting. Yeah, so sitting, does weaken the psoas muscles, the hip muscles. And this is why people have a hard time running, like even after high school, like in their 20s. You don't see people running in their 20s. So, because in the beginning of high school, they teach us to sit, right? Like in high school, we're always sitting. But then the people in the gym, of course, the people in the gym, they had gym class, but then the people who didn't go to the gym, they were sitting. You see what I'm saying? And then they go to college. What they do, they go to college. They sit in, they study, and they sit in. If you didn't use the athletic ability you did in high school to continue using in college, right? So if you're not doing that, getting the body mobility training, then you're sitting down at a desk from high school all the way to college. And then when you get out of college, if you work in an office or you work somewhere else, you're sitting down, right? So they're literally training you sitting down to hurting the psoas muscles. All right, so they're weakening it. And this is your lower abs. So people go, I want to get abs. Well, if you want to get abs, work out your psoas muscles. If you want to get the lower abs, and how do you work it out? Well, one thing to work it out is, I explained this before, but L-sits. Some people can't do this. But when you sit on the floor and do that, I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, my legs are off the floor, but my hamstrings aren't all the way flexible, so they kind of bend, you feel me? Okay. That's tough. Also, if you get a pull-up and then you do leg raises on the pull-up, that helps the psoas muscles too. But something easier for like beginners, just bringing your leg up to your stomach like this and holding onto your knee like that helps. This helps warm up the psoas muscles, helps strengthen the psoas muscles. And this just ties back to what I keep saying. People keep walking in a straight line, not working out anything. So we don't practice lateral movements, working out the fascia latae, and we don't work out bringing our leg up above our belly button, essentially, to work out the lower abs. So, because we're just walking in a straight line. So we're not doing laterals, and we're not even bringing our knees up. To a certain, when people walk, they bring, the highest people bring their knees up when they walk is like this. Right? But if you just feel your abs, feel your lower abs, and just do this, you won't feel it in your lower abs, okay? So, you got strong hips, you got strong lower abs. This is why the hip area, the psoas area, this is what helps stabilize the upper and lower back. The upper and lower body. So when you see the guys doing the flag and then they up with their legs straight out, they got strong hips. Like super strong hips. Like that's Superman strong hips. Like a very strong core. So if you wanna get abs, you gotta learn how to bring your leg up far enough to help stimulate that, right? And you may have a lot of fat over that, so you may not feel it when you're doing it, but this is still beneficial. So, and remember, every bit of knowledge that I'm bringing right now, these biomechanics, this exercise science, is to help get into running form. So when you work out the psoas muscles, this is gonna help with running. This is gonna help further stabilize your lower half and your upper half. Because when you're running, you don't want to be all wobbly running. You want to be stabilized running. So, the psoas muscle, the psoas core workouts help with that too. So this is why you see people who run literally do this. Literally. Because they're warming up. They're warming up their hips. They're warming up their psoas. So people don't even do this. So I gave you so many different variations that strengthening the feet, strengthening the ankles, strengthening the tibialis, the front of the shin, strengthening the scalenus, which surrounds the Achilles, strengthening the gastrocnemius, hamstring. Squats, strengthen the glutes. It's gonna help stabilize the lower back. You get the squats, you help with core. This help further stabilize the lower back. Strengthen the hips to help with the running motion. Okay, so this is why I felt I had built myself up to sprinting form, because I've been working on all these things. So when you're running, you're using your feet. You need strength in your feet. You need ankle stability. So you need to work the muscles in the lower region of your leg, which we already talked about. You need knee strength, right? So get in the squats, right? When you're running, you don't want to have that pain in your lower back region. So you got to work on the core region. You got to work on your hips. Work on the psoas to help stabilize when you're running. So all of these things is going to help stabilize you when you're running. So I already explained the strengthening of the feet, the strengthening of the ankles, the strengthening of the knee, the strengthening of the leg, the strengthening of the glutes, the help with the lower back, the strengthening of the core. Like, these simple workouts help with all of that. So all it is incorporating it all. So I think that's it. I really did go from the feet all the way to the hips, very in depth. Excuse me. So it's not just about squats. It's not just about squatting. I just feel squatting is a good way to start, like a good way to get you back in the game. See, I'm breaking a sweat and all that, so. And this is all before I go to the store. So basically, I want to wrap this up because I don't want to just keep repeating myself, keep doing these reruns. But if you're in good condition now, if you're still young, you can literally build yourself back up doing these workouts into running form, into sprinting form. Like, once you do all this, you feel like you worked out your legs, you feel like you worked out your feet, you did a lot of squats, and you worked out those hip muscles, those psoas muscles, doing leg raises, you did enough of those, you practice jogging, then you should be working on sprinting.